What's up, y'all? Y'all know who it is. Y'all know what I'm on. So we in the den, and I wanted to just share a couple of ideas, thoughts, whatever, on week two. So, as you see in the updates channel, we had a lot of games. I was looking forward to seeing how some of these games played out. We got star ratings. 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, five. Well, this week was a lot of games that really kind of had an opportunity where different coaches had opportunity to really kind of take that next step in proving themselves as to be either who they think they are or who I thought they were. So let's take a quick look at just some of the games that I had pegged. Okay, so let's start with Ohio State versus Miami. Let's go down here. Let me see. Ohio State versus Miami, ACC. The game was down there in Coral Gables. D. Armand, I made this specifically a home game for him. Wanted to give him a shot. You in prime time. Opportunity to take on a 4 star coach. Now, keep in mind, D. Armand is a 2 star coach. So I wanted to give him an opportunity to play a 4 star coach and prove I'm 3 star. I need to be three. He working his way up. It didn't happen. It just didn't happen. We here go the stats, but I'm gonna be honest. These stats probably make the game look a little closer than what it really was. Ohio State pretty much dominated. As you can see, 200 yards on the ground, which is a heavy offensive game plan. 14 for 19 in the air. So he threw the ball only 19 times, ran it 32 times. That's impressive. Ohio State, one time. This was one of them games where I'm like, hey, if he lose to D. Armand, then I think we really talking about a 3 star season, versus he's a 4 currently. In looking at the numbers, it was just one of those games Ohio State controlled it from the minute it started. Now, a couple of things that I really noticed. The turnovers. Herbie Lemons, 4 picks. You can't turn the ball over. Okay. D. Armand just threw too many. A couple of them picks was just egregious, like right over the middle, trying to force it, and it's nothing there. It's just those very bonehead over the middle picks that people throw all the time, and he did it a couple times. You can't win games like that. This is gonna be one that kind of annoys people. Oh wait, sorry. Here we go. The running back. So one time running back. Here's Ruggins. He had 5 catches. Other running back, 3 catches. That's 8. Tight end caught 1. Other running back caught 3. And the receiver only caught 2 passes. So Ohio State, the QB, Johnny Three Legs, he completed 14 passes and 12 of them went to either running backs and then 1 went to a tight end. Speaks volumes. At one point I heard D. Armand say, man, he just throwing the ball into the flats. Well, it's because you're not covering the flats. The only reason why a running back will catch it in the flats every single time is because you're not covering him. You need to cover the flats, period. So if my opponent is continuing to then take that area of the field away, and there's multiple ways of doing that. There's no one single formula to playing defense. There's no one defense fits all type of defense out there. There just isn't. Most people, D. Armand, and the way Miami approached defense is they were willing to take away the longer routes, the deeper routes, but they weren't willing to take away the shorter stuff. So in essence, the defense worked. Like, you didn't let him beat you deep. You didn't give up the big explosive plays, but you gave up all of the underneath stuff. So if you don't want to get beat with that stuff, then play more man, play more flat zone, play hard flats. That's a key. Hard flats. There you go. Okay, there you go. Hard flats. And are you going to be susceptible to other stuff? Absolutely. But that's what football is all about. It's a chess match. So did D. Armand come out here and show us that he was a 2-star coach? I think so. I think I think that Miami, D. Armand himself is still a 2-star coach. I did not see the type of competitiveness that I wanted to see that really could have had him take that next step. So The other side of that coin is one time. Who is one time? Is he a 4 or is he a 3? I'm gonna tell you right now, he looked like a 3, and here's why. Here's why. You go up here, look at Ohio State's schedule so far. They played 2 games. Okay, he played he played a 4-star coach in Dalton, who's really played well all year long. Got to give him a lot of credit. And then you look up and he's played D'Armand. So he played a 4-star and a 2-star. When he played the 4-star coach, got dog walked. Absolutely dog walked. Got embarrassed at home in front of the fans. So you know Ohio State fans, they're crazy. They're gonna be upset with him. Didn't play well. And look at the team is 99, y'all. We ain't talking about no more team with one time. No more. Team is 9. You see that. You see the 399. It's crazy. And it's all speed. So it ain't no issue with no speed, and it ain't the team. Okay. It's these. This is all of what it is. Okay. So 35-13 at home to Notre Dame. Once again, you play other 4-star coaches. Those games should be competitive more often than not. Now, we all going to lay an egg from time to time. That's just a part of it. But this is kind of make or break type of season, okay? Because one time coach rating is at like a 63%. At least it was going into the Miami game. He on the hot seat. That seat getting very warm in Columbus. But then he go down to Coral Gables, South Florida, and he watched D'Armand. So the question is one time a 4-star coach, we still got a lot of ball to play. But after them first 2 games, I would say that's a 3-star type of look. Get blown out by a 4 and then blow out a 2. It average out to be about a 3, because that's what a 3-star is. You're gonna win user games, but then you're gonna really struggle a lot of times when it comes to playing better competition. But the cool thing is he has an opportunity because his next 2 games are against, technically, I think I got Guap as a 5. Guap is still a 5 because he still got that natty, and Guap is still really good. He got Colorado on the road, which is a big game for both of those programs. And then he come back home and he played Texas Tech, and we'll get to him here now. So I think these next 2 games are really going to help to kind of determine which way that one time go. And then here, as you see, towards the end of the season, he got his 2 big. So he gonna win all these little non-conference games, or excuse me, these computer games. He gonna win all 5 of them. Okay, so Guap is gonna go into that game against Hand. Either 1-1. These games could go either way. I mean, he could go into that game with 3 losses, or he can go in there with 1 loss. It could go either way. All of these games should be competitive. Okay. They should be competitive. So let's get over to Texas Tech, because Air, you another one. Okay, so Air is currently a 3-star coach. You know, I know deep down inside he want the 4, but I'm gonna keep it a thou. There's nothing 4-star about these 2 results that y'all see on the screen. Okay, he had a chance. Listen, the first game was neutral site, in-state battle with Texas A&M. Both teams are rated about the same. Let me look at Texas A&M. 87, okay, 91, 81. So they're 87. Texas Tech is at 85. So we're talking about very comparative rosters. The roster difference isn't very high. And but he got absolutely smoked and gave up 392 yards on the ground to Texas A&M. Champ got back to being champ in that game, okay? So, and then he had another opportunity. You come home and you play another really good coach, Zeus. And I mean, it was blowout city from the beginning. So once again, like, he won the second half, but it was 34-7 at halftime. You know, Michigan kind of pulled their foot off the gas, and it was all bad. Texas Tech couldn't move the ball at all in the first half. He punted. Let me see how many punts he had on there. 4 punts. I imagine probably all 4 came in the first half. I don't think he probably didn't punt in the second half. I don't know. I didn't see the whole second half, but I was watching. I watched both of these games, and I'm not seeing it. I do see a 3-star coach so far. You know, not competitive against better players. Now, his next game is going to be very difficult. So next week he goes to Texas, and Texas is a team that beat them 35-34 in the playoffs last year. So it should be a competitive game. Okay, they both going into that game 0-2, which is insane because they both made the playoffs. It's looking like either maybe one or neither will make the playoffs. They got a lot of work to do. So, and then one time. So, I mean, we got a lot of great matchups here in that 3-4 star range. Okay. And these coaches, so far, the way I'm seeing it, these ratings are correct. They look like they are spot on. I'm not seeing the coaches really step. I haven't seen anyone step up yet. So let's take a look at the next one. Notre Dame and SMU. So once again, I won't spend a whole lot of time on it, but I'll say this. Dalton is who I think he is. A good coach can't win big games. Can't, absolutely cannot. And it might be more mental. I think there's a big mental component to it. And then I think the other component is Dalton doesn't really, he doesn't press you on defense. And what I mean by press, he doesn't force you to really think. He doesn't force you to have to, he doesn't take anything away. You can do whatever you really want. And I think that people play him and make mistakes, but I don't see him forcing the issue. I don't see his user running around like playing stingy defense. I just don't see that. But I think offensively, he's good enough to where he can move the ball. Now, I don't think that he's super lethal because he makes so many goofy mistakes. Like the mistakes are always just like, let me tell you something. When I watch Dalton play, like when he loses these games, the pick that he always throws near the end of a game is always what? Like it's super telegraphed. Okay. It's never a, man, that was just the quarterback put the ball in the wrong spot, or, you know, it's just always very telegraphed. Like he's really going to his best plays, like the ones that his opponent are maybe expecting, or maybe he just clams up. I have no idea. But nonetheless, this was a great game. SMU Notre Dame was awesome to watch. And Dalton made probably one of the best play calls I've ever seen after forcing a turnover. I think it was turnover on downs at like his own 1 yard line. So he gets the ball back, calls a running back middle screen, nearly houses it. His running back must not be that fast because he got caught. And ultimately, did he score that touchdown? I don't think he scored a touchdown. Let me see. I don't remember. Maybe he did. I'm going to assume he did. I will assume he did. But he gets all the way down like inside the 10. I think they scored. Yeah, he did score. He went up 17-13, and I believe Jay Green. No, he went up 17-10. Yeah, it went up 17-10, I believe, because the game was tied. No, he went up by 3. Yeah, I think he went up 17-14. Jay Green got the ball back, drove back down, and kicked a field goal to force overtime. Then they went to overtime, and Jay Green wins the game by 3 because I'm pretty sure Dalton threw a pick there in overtime. So I want to say it was a pick in overtime. I could be wrong. But nonetheless, it was a great game. But it's just that it's the same. Boy, I'm telling you, it feels like Penn State in real life. It feels like when Tennessee plays Georgia, or when Ole Miss usually plays Georgia or Bama. Like they just cannot get over the hump. And I don't think it's talent. I think it's mental at this point because he's always kind of there. But then in these big games, like he just finds ways to kind of lose. So, I mean, is he still a 4-star coach? Yes, because he lost to another 4-star coach, and that was a classic game, period. No if, answer, or buts about it. So, he's properly rated. There's no issues with that. Jay Green is probably I think Jay Green is going to win a Natty one of these days. Could be this season. He one of those players. One of the elite users in the league, period. And understanding of the game. Jay Green is one of those guys. It's a very small group of people here who truly understand like X's, O's, and the video game. He's one of those. One of those elite ones. And a good dude too. So, hats off to him. The other game that I had a lot of interest in, there was really one more. I had a lot of, and that was Florida State, Texas. And that game was just a blowout. And it's kind of shocking that that Morpheus, basically laid down on the road, or excuse me, at home. As you can see, the game was tied in the fourth quarter, and then Florida State just put the foot on the gas in the fourth. And it's, don't expect that. I didn't see this game. The only thing is, I wish I would have watched it. I did not watch it. I'm just coming back looking at the stats. I wish I could have watched it and got a better understanding of how it all kind of happened. But I see 5 turnovers. I don't know when they happened, so I can't say. But I know 24 points in the fourth quarter tells me there was turnovers in the fourth. Because it's hard to score that many points in the fourth quarter without turning the ball over. So, or without getting turnovers, I should say. So, once again, I mean, Morpheus 0-2, but I fully expect him to be okay. And by okay is, let me check his schedule. He may, I mean, listen, the SEC is going to be difficult. He's already shown it's difficult beating a computer, some of these teams. But if we look here at the Texas schedule, his next game, Texas Tech, is do or die. He cannot lose this game, and he at home, so that's got to be a win. Then I don't know how I end up with Rutgers, but he should win that one. He is still learning how to play the computer, so this Bama game could be a little bit annoying to him. Oklahoma, hold on to your horses, boy, because they can beat you. The team is 99. They ridiculous. Vandy should be an easy win. Mississippi State, I imagine, should be an easy win. And then he gonna play Grimes. Grimes is new. Listen, Grimes is my homie from college, and back in the day, he was good. I know he can still play. He's still nice. I don't know how nice. I just personally don't know because I haven't played him in shit since college, literally. But we talk, and I know he can still play. He's not a bum. So, but I don't know if he's ever played in a league with this type of competition, with these rules. He's still learning, so we're gonna kind of see what happens there. And then he got to slide to Knoxville, and one thing we all know is that it's different in that den. So he ain't gonna just pull up in here and just have easy success. Nah, it ain't gonna be like that. But it's gonna be a dog fight, and I know I'm gonna have my hands full with him. That's gonna be a difficult game. Then he got to go to Florida and then still play Texas TV in his season finale. So Morpheus' road to the playoffs difficult. If I had to guess right now, I'm gonna say he's not gonna make it. He ain't making it. He's not making it through this whole schedule. No chance. Nope. Too much. It's too much. It's too much. Will he keep his 4th star after the season? Yeah, because he made such a good run last year. He's going to keep it for a minute until he showed that he just is ass. And I don't think he will. I just think this schedule is going to be too much. And I think he lost a close game. If he would have beat Jay Green in this first one, and then, if he was 1-1 coming through these first 2, then I would say, it's a good chance he could still make it. I don't see him making it. Look at his combined opponent record. It's already 14-7. It's only going to get worse. So he ends the season with 4 straight users. If he went all 4, that would be a hell of a run. Absolute hell of a run. Is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? I don't know. I'm not about to sit here and put my money on it. And then let's talk about Night Nose real quick. Florida State. Night Nose is kind of doing what he always do. There's really no surprise. This is kind of who he is. We've seen this time and time again, winning some, big regular season games. I think he has the 2nd best record in the league right now overall in our 5+ seasons that we've been going. But obviously, let me just take a look at a bigger picture here. As we kind of discuss where he's been coaching. Actually, I'll say national. And if I keep it here. Okay, so Zeus is 59-14 with 59 wins. That's the most. Hen is actually, you can see Hen's real record by looking at his OC, 59-15, because they've had the same coordinator. Let me see. Go back to head coach now. Here you go. So Night Nose is 59-16. He tied for the most wins in the league. Okay. Actually, let me see one more without. Let me see if I can see what's his name. Nah, that's right. He got new coordinators. I was trying to look for I don't know what's his name's record was. What Tommy's record was. He got new coordinators, so it's no way for me to know that. But nonetheless, so staying on track, Night Nose, stay on head coach, has 59 wins, tied for the most in the league. You know, we've seen this before. 59-16 is nice. That's a good record. Playoff record, 4-4. So he won a couple playoff games. Okay. But as you can see right here, no national championships, 2 conference championships. Okay. In terms of his development, 6 first-round draft picks. That's not bad at all. Okay. In 5 seasons, I mean, we finished 5, so we've had five drafts, 6 first-round draft picks, 30 players drafted overall. You can't complain. You can't complain about that. But no top 5 recruiting classes. We can make the argument right now that Night Nose really. I mean, he's not recruiting at a high level. You know, you can kind of see that with the draft. I mean, only 30 players drafted. You know, 6 in the first round is nothing to look down on. That's pretty solid. And looking at that big number, you know, let me see who else is up here. 49er George leading the way with 10 first-round picks over this period of time. Let me see. I wish I could find what coaches was. It's no way for me to really know because this Kirkpatrick was new, so that's not even his own. This isn't even considering his first coordinator. Coaches by far had the most first-round picks, and I'm not sure how many he had. He knows, and I'll find out from him actually, because I know he kept a lot of this stuff. He saved everything. I'm certain of it. And then as you can see, overall players drafted. These are good things to kind of look at. Ryan Day at 57. But as far as our dynasty goes, not including Coach, because I know Coach got the most. But we lead the way. Tennessee at 38. Michigan 37. Night Nose at 30. So technically he's third. That's not bad. Not bad at all for the whole league. Third with 30 players drafted. And he's tied with Dalton because Dalton has 30 as well too. Okay, so those 2 guys in 49er Georgia at 29. The player development is good at Florida State, but the lack of championships is probably what most people are, you know, going to really kind of go back to when we're talking about Night Nose. So anyways, with that being said, those are my thoughts on the week. I don't think anything has changed in terms of the games that I really wanted to kind of take a look at. Clemson Penn State was another one. Kind of wanted to get an idea who this new Penn State owner or coach is. 1-1 on the season, or maybe 2-1 now. I think he had 2-1. They blew out Orion. He blew out Orion week 1, lost to LSU week 2, and then beat Georgia in week 3. And I can tell you right now, you know, all the love in the world, George is my guy. But boy, that seat is getting hot down there in Death Valley. George got to get some wins. He falls to 0-2. Currently a 3-star coach. Only 104 yards of total offense. And I think George got to get in the lab and get that pass game going. 6 for 19 ain't going to cut it. Especially if the run game is not working. And if the run game don't work, and you struggle in the past, that's what leads to 0 for 7 on 3rd down. That's just a tough game. I didn't see this one, but these numbers are tough. So anyways, you know, that Clemson job may be open if George don't get it together. Let's look at his schedule to see if the schedule is going to be kind enough to him. He got Washington. No, that's me. I'm tripping. I'm about to say it was orange. Let's go down to Clemson. Okay. He got a bye, and he had TCU. Tough. That's the week before Texas or Tennessee played. TCU hasn't played a lot of ball yet. Only played 1 game so far. So we still got to learn about who they are. But at TCU won't be easy. You know, he was on the fringe of making the playoffs last season. NC State, that's got to be a win. You know, if you start 0-3 or 1-2, you got to beat this NC State. Then it's going to be a big showdown with Miami. That's going to be a conference game. You know, potential That's the kind of game that can end a career. You know, you lose that one, you can't afford to go 0-3, 4, 5. You can't afford to be 1-4 in that going into that game. SMU, it only gets tougher. You know, SMU gonna be heavily favored in that. Wake Forest, you got to go down there and beat Philly Carnage. You know, Wake Forest is not very talented overall, but Philly is playing good ball. He coaching his butt off right now. Louisville, I think Louisville popped them last year. Okay, so this guy gotta go get your lick back. It's a tough schedule. You know, Florida State, South Carolina, it's a rivalry game. Listen, George got to take his get in that lab, put his foot on that gas and go. You know, and we know he can do it. He's done it before. So anyways, that's my thoughts. I was thinking about some of these games. Here in the den, from time to time, I'm gonna just pop in here. I might just post these on the in my channel. I just created a channel for myself, and all the comments, conversations will be added to a thread. So feel free to tap in, chime in, give me your opinion, talk your shit. Feel free. Next week, let me see if there's any games that I kind of just want to look at. I might preview. Let me see. Week 3. There are no Tennessee games. This will be a good one to keep an eye on. We're gonna see who TCU is when they play Champ. And that's another one. Champ is starting to get back to being Champ. It could have been a 2-game fluke, but I think he's starting to remember who he is, get back to his style of play, and it's starting to work. As you saw how he took care of Arizona State, and Unk ain't got no QB, so his life was miserable. I could tell it would look bad. It just looked difficult. Let me see. Miami, Wisconsin. Dearmond can't lose this one. You lose this one, you definitely stand 2-star forever. I'm just kidding, but that you can't lose this on the road. Los, he need a win too, you know. Let me see here. That's not that big of a game. Notre Dame, Florida. This is gonna be an awesome matchup. Dalton, let's see if he can he get one? Can he get one? You know, it's time to put up or shut up for Notre Dame. 2-1 on the season, though. This is the kind of win he need one of these wins over a good coach. Kind of think of his last win over a good coach. I think he beat Hen like a couple seasons ago. Other than that, you know, he's always losing these games to coaches who are considered to be better. So he got to get this. This is the time. It's right now, Dalton. It's not later. It's right now. Texas, three big games on the schedule. Texas Tech game is going to be big. 4, Ohio State, Colorado. We need to know what y'all doing. Grimes, Mizzou, and North Texas. That's a big matchup. His first game, he playing Midgey. That's a good match. That's a good way to kind of come in and see what's happening with you. That's gonna be good. LSU, Arizona State. We on